There is a Toyota fluid change that service centers love to sell because it sounds responsible, technical, and urgent, even when absolutely nothing is wrong. Most owners don't question it because the explanation feels logical and professional. The warning carries just enough concern to make approving it feel like the safe choice. And that's exactly why it works so well. I've watched this play out countless times. A Toyota comes in running perfectly with no warning lights, no leaks, no noises, and no drivability issues. The owner expects a routine visit, but the service advisor returns with concern and a familiar line about fluid breakdown. That single sentence has quietly cost Toyota owners thousands of dollars. Not because the fluid was actually failing, but because most people don't understand how these systems are designed to age. Toyota fluids are not treated as routine consumables the way service menus suggest. They are engineered to live inside sealed systems for long periods without intervention, and disturbing those systems early often creates problems instead of preventing them. If you've ever been told a fluid was dirty or due even though your Toyota felt perfectly fine, tap the like button. Subscribe if you believe maintenance should be based on condition, not pressure. And if a fluid service ever caught you off guard during a routine visit, leave a comment about it. I see every comment, and those experiences help other owners question the same recommendations. The most expensive and most abused of these services is transmission fluid. Service centers lean on fear here because transmission problems sound catastrophic. Words like wear, metal, and failure instantly create urgency, even when the transmission is shifting smoothly and behaving normally. Modern Toyota transmissions are designed around very specific fluid behavior. That fluid is part of how the transmission functions, controlling pressure, friction, and shift timing. When it's changed too early or flushed aggressively, those calibrations are disrupted, even though nothing was broken beforehand. I've inspected transmissions that shifted perfectly for years until a preventive flush was performed. Within months, owners noticed harsh shifts or delayed engagement that never existed before. The transmission didn't fail, the system was simply disturbed. Toyota understands this risk, which is why many factory schedules either specify long intervals or recommend drain and fill procedures only under specific conditions. Service centers often skip that nuance and present flushing as an upgrade rather than a major intervention. Because the vehicle usually drives fine afterward, the connection is never made. Brake fluid is another service commonly sold when nothing is wrong. It's framed as safety critical, with talk of moisture and corrosion, which makes hesitation disappear quickly. But brake fluid condition depends heavily on environment, not mileage alone. I've tested brake fluid in Toyotas well past 100,000 miles that still met specifications with no performance loss. I've also seen owners pay for repeated flushes without noticing any change whatsoever. The service didn't improve braking, it only increased the bill. Coolant services follow the same pattern. Toyota long-life coolant is engineered to last far longer than many service menus suggest. When a cooling system is clean, sealed, and stable, flushing it early introduces risk instead of protection. Hoses and seals that aged comfortably in place can begin leaking after unnecessary service. Air can be introduced into the system, and improper refilling can create issues that never existed before. I've seen Toyotas leave running hotter after a flush they didn't need. Power steering fluid is still pushed as well, even though many modern Toyotas use electric power steering and don't have fluid at all. When fluid is present, it does not degrade on a simple mileage schedule. Noise, leaks, or steering changes are what justify service, not a round number. What ties all of these fluid services together is how they're sold. They're framed as protection rather than repair, and prevention rather than correction. That language works especially well on owners who value reliability and want to do the right thing. But Toyota reliability comes from restraint. Fluids that are clean, stable, and doing their job are best left alone. Intervention without symptoms doesn't extend life, it shortens the period before something changes. The smartest question you can ask when a fluid service is recommended is simple: what problem does this solve right now? If there is no symptom, no warning, and no factory requirement at your mileage, you're not declining maintenance. You're declining interference. The Toyotas that last the longest aren't maintained aggressively. They're maintained intelligently. And once you understand that difference, fluid services stop feeling urgent and start feeling optional again. What most Toyota owners don't realize is that these fluid services aren't recommended because something is failing. They're recommended because they're profitable. Fluid changes are easy to sell, quick to perform, and difficult for the average owner to verify. That combination makes them one of the most reliable revenue streams a service center has. Once a fluid service is approved, it often becomes part of a pattern. The next visit includes another recommendation, then another. Nothing ever feels wrong with the car, but the invoices quietly grow. Owners assume this is what responsible long-term ownership looks like, even though the vehicle itself hasn't asked for any of it. I've seen this most clearly with long-term Toyota owners who keep meticulous records. Their cars run smoothly, shift cleanly, and show no warning lights, yet their maintenance costs climb year after year. When you compare their vehicles to similar Toyotas that received only factory-scheduled service, the difference isn't reliability. It's cost. The reason service centers push these fluid changes so confidently is because the results are delayed. If a problem shows up later, it's never connected back to the service. A harsh shift months later isn't blamed on a transmission flush. A small coolant leak a year later isn't blamed on an early flush. The cause is forgotten, and the service looks harmless. That delay protects the recommendation. The owner never connects the dots. Another factor that keeps these services alive is how they're bundled. Fluid changes are rarely presented alone. They're grouped with oil changes, inspections, and maintenance packages that make the total feel justified. When several services are approved together, it becomes difficult to evaluate any one of them critically. Service advisors also rely heavily on visuals. A dark fluid sample, a color chart, or a tablet image labeled degraded creates urgency even when the condition is normal for the vehicle's age. Dark does not mean failing. Color change alone does not indicate loss of function. Toyota engineers expect fluids to darken over time. That's part of normal operation, not a warning sign. The system was designed with that behavior in mind, but service menus rarely explain that distinction. One of the clearest examples I've seen involved a retired owner with a low-mileage Toyota that was driven gently and stored in a garage. The car ran flawlessly, yet every visit resulted in another fluid recommendation. Over 10 years, the owner spent more on unnecessary services than many owners spend on real repairs over a lifetime. Nothing catastrophic ever happened to the car. It simply became more expensive to own than it ever needed to be. If this sounds familiar, pause for a second and tap the like button. Subscribe if you want to understand Toyota maintenance without pressure or fear. And if you've ever approved a fluid service simply because it sounded responsible, leave a comment. Those shared experiences help other owners realize they're not alone. The key shift that protects owners is learning to separate factory maintenance from service center strategy. Toyota publishes detailed schedules for a reason. Those schedules are based on engineering data, not sales targets. When a recommendation goes beyond that schedule without symptoms, it deserves scrutiny. Fluid services should solve problems, not anticipate imaginary ones. Noise, leaks, temperature changes, shifting issues, or warning lights justify intervention. Mileage alone does not. Once owners understand this, the power dynamic changes. The conversation slows down. Recommendations become optional instead of urgent. And suddenly, the same service centers that pushed hard begin offering phrases like "we can keep an eye on it." That's the moment clarity returns. Toyota built these vehicles to age gradually, not abruptly. Systems don't suddenly fail because a number on the odometer changed. They communicate when something is wrong, and they do it clearly when owners are paying attention. When you let fluids do their job until there's a real reason to intervene, you're not neglecting maintenance, you're respecting the design. And that's why the Toyotas that last the longest aren't the ones with the most service stamps. They're the ones that were left alone when nothing needed fixing. The quiet truth about unnecessary Toyota fluid services is that they don't just waste money in the moment. Over time, they train owners to ignore their own judgment. Each visit reinforces the idea that maintenance must always escalate, that something is always about to go wrong, and that the safest option is to approve whatever appears on the screen. That mindset is where long-term ownership quietly breaks down. Toyota didn't build these vehicles to require constant intervention. They built them to be predictable, conservative, and forgiving. Most fluids are engineered to age gradually, not suddenly fail. When something truly needs attention, the car almost always communicates it clearly through behavior, noise, temperature, or warning lights. But when owners are conditioned to act preemptively on every recommendation, those signals lose meaning. Real issues get lumped in with imagined ones, and trust erodes on both sides. I've spoken with many long-term Toyota owners who eventually reach a breaking point. They don't stop maintaining their cars, they stop trusting service centers. They start asking why their perfectly running vehicle somehow needs more work every year than it did when it was new. When they finally step back and follow Toyota's factory schedule instead of the dealership's menu, something surprising happens. The car doesn't fall apart, nothing dramatic breaks. Ownership actually becomes quieter, cheaper, and more predictable. That's not coincidence. That's design. The fluid change that wasn't urgent stays unnecessary. The system stabilizes, where progress is normally instead of being artificially accelerated. And the owner regains control of the relationship with the vehicle. This is why some Toyotas cross 300, 400, even 500,000 miles with remarkably few repairs. Not because they were constantly serviced, but because they were serviced intentionally. Less intervention doesn't mean less care, it means better timing. The biggest shift happens when owners stop viewing mileage milestones as deadlines and start treating them as checkpoints. A number on the odometer doesn't demand action by itself, it simply invites evaluation. Ask different questions. Is the car behaving differently? Is there a leak, noise, or warning? Has performance changed in a measurable way? If the answer is no, then doing nothing is often the correct choice. Service centers don't operate on patience, they operate on volume. That doesn't make them evil, but it does mean their incentives are not aligned with long-term ownership. Understanding that difference protects both your vehicle and your wallet. Toyota owners who learn this early tend to keep their cars longer, enjoy them more, and spend far less over time. Their maintenance records look boring, but their ownership stories don't include surprise repairs or financial regret. If this perspective helped you rethink how you approach Toyota maintenance, hit subscribe. This channel exists to slow the conversation down and replace fear with understanding. And if you've ever declined a service recommendation and watched nothing bad happen afterward, share that experience in the comments. I see every comment, and those stories help other owners trust their instincts. Toyota longevity isn't a mystery. It's the result of restraint, consistency, and knowing when not to touch what's already working. And once you see that, unnecessary fluid services stop feeling responsible and start feeling optional.